Hey everyone, this is Jim North and Doug Silver with ZNA Potomac, and today we're going to be bowling up a couple of these fish and showing you how to bag them properly. And we're going to do this in two different formats. One is kind of a beginner, where all you have is a net, a bowl, and a bag. And then we'll do a little bit more advanced, where you're using a sock net for bigger fish, and that also involves using a measuring tank. But we'll get into that in a minute. Both forms of bagging that we're showing you today, you're going to need a net such as this. You're going to need an oxygen tank. This is a standard welding oxygen tank with a welding regulator. So you can pick those up from a lot of different places. Around here we get this stuff from Robert's Oxygen, but there's many places you can get that from. Go ahead and get yourself a big bag of rubber bands. Don't skimp on these. Get the big ones. You're going to need bags. You got to get good bags. Most of us buy them from a company called Uline. That's ULINE.com. And these are 4 mil bags. So you want to get whatever size fish you have, about twice the length, twice or 3 times the length, and then 4 mil. So you go ahead and look those up online. Now you're also going to need a standard bowl for the first bagging method we show you. For the second bagging method that we're going to show you, you're going to use everything except that bowl, and you're also going to add in a sock net and a measuring tank. Alright, let's get started. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure you've got a good net. This net is perfectly acceptable. I prefer Matsuda, but we're kind of in close quarters here in this garage, so we're going to use this net. And what we're going to do is we're going to catch a couple of the smaller fish in here, even though all pretty much left in here is pretty decent size. But anyways, so Doug's going to help me out, and he's going to work the bowl while I net the fish. And then after they are bowled, we will bag them and show you how to put them in a bag and fill it up with oxygen and use rubber bands on them. So here we go. Now when you're using a net, never rush it. Just follow the fish around. I could have caught this fish 20 times by now. As you can see, no problem when you're not. Doug's just going to guide her into the bowl. And just like that, she's calm. She's calm. All the rest of the fish aren't agitated. And it's just the best way to try and catch fish. We're going to go ahead and catch 2 because we're going to have 2 in this bag. So the other one is slightly bigger. Sure with Surrey, as you can see. No problem catching that fish either. I do have a couple years of experience, and so does Doug, but practice a few times, you'll get it.
And we just want to try to swim them right in the bowl. Our preferred way of transporting our koi is to put them in plastic bags with oxygen and water, and we like to double bag. That way, if the inner bag gets punctured, you still have the outer bag to help keep the water and the oxygen in there. And the oxygen is way more important at this point than all the water. So we only take 2 nice large bags. Jim, if you would help.
Sure.
Get them to go in on the seams. So they slide right in.
Just like so.
Once you have them in there, just curl them back. Now you're ready to go ahead and bag the fish.
All right, here we go.
Close again.
So, from the bowl, because probably what you have is a bowl, is a little more difficult than doing this from a measuring tank. But not everyone goes out and spends a lot of money on a measuring tank when they're first starting to show koi. So you probably do have a bowl though. So what I like to do is get a little bit of water. And it's going to be getting this out of your pond, not a nice tank like we have. So a little bit of water in there. And then, this usually works best with 2 people. You tip the bowl just a little bit. What you want to do is sink the edge of the bag. And then just pull it underneath the koi. And they'll swim into the bag. If you don't have enough water in it, if it's a little low on water, you can just get some out of the pond. When you're using the bowl method, I recommend keeping them over the pond. The bowls are really kind of too small to take the fish and the bowl out of the pond. It'd be a little bit dangerous. The fish can easily get out of those bowls and flop around on the ground. So I prefer to, when doing the bowl method, to keep it in the water. But you'll see the difference in a minute. So from here, we're going to pull this bag out of here and into this box, and then we're going to air it up. So I'm going to do that real quick. How much water is too much water? If you have average size koi and you can't lift the bag, that's too much water. This seems about right. We're going to find out when we get it in the box. Now I'm reusing a box that I had koi shipped to me in. So save those boxes.
Good
We'll
heavy
leave them at a
cardboard.
later date.
Good heavy cardboard box.
So looking through the bag, I can see that their gills are covered with water, but their backs are sticking out of the water, and that's what you want. The idea of this is we're going to displace the regular air that we breathe in here. We're going to displace that with oxygen, pure oxygen. So remember that oxygen tank we talked about earlier? Well, this is where it comes into play. So we're going to stick that in there. We got our rubber bands ready. And go ahead and hit it, Doug. You want to make sure you have all of the air out of this bag. Then stick the air tube in and blow it up with oxygen.
Good.
Once the bag is tight like this, you want to rope it off. And Doug, actually, if you want to do that, I'm going to move the camera in real quick so they can see the method that we use to do this.
Okay. A couple different methods I like to do is a half hitch. Actually hitch over that section, and I fold this part of the bag over. And I'll go around it 3 times, lock it off real good. Then I'll take the outer bag, push the inner bag down in there, take the outer bag. Do the same situation with the outer bag as well. I do like to use 2 rubber bands. These are our babies. So we want to make sure it stays that way. It stays nice and tight. And we don't have a problem later if a rubber band breaks. And this one's gotten really tight, but there you go.
Here you can see they are safe and secure in this bag. They have plenty of oxygen, plenty of water, and they're good to go for several hours like this. Obviously you want to try and keep them out of the heat. So there you go. That is bagging method number 1. When you're using the measuring tank method, what you're going to want to do is make sure your measuring tank is clean. Mine is clean. It rained all over it this morning and I had to empty it, so it's good and tight. You can take your sock net and you're just going to dip it into the pond. I like to use pond water. Grab a couple scoops of water and just right into your measuring tank. Now you don't want to fill this up. when we catch the fish with the net, we're going to bring the fish out with the sock net, so there's going to be some water from that as well. So it's going to get more water in it. So don't go crazy putting water in it. You'll get more in there, trust me. In fact, you're catching a lot of fish like we are. We'll be sock netting water out of here by the time we're done. For this method, Doug's going to go ahead and catch one of the kohakus in here, and he will then bring her over to me, and then I will sock net her out. So he's got the kohaku, he's bringing her over. Now with a sock net, you usually want to go under their nose, and then you just run the length of their body with the net like this. Okay, she's in the net now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to twist this. That'll make it so she can't get out. And then on the back end, this is a Matsuda sock net that has netting at the end. And what that allows you to do is, right now, there's too much water in here. You can just let a little bit of the water right out of the back. And you just lift her over. And then you got to untwist the sock net. You're still holding the bag. And just drop the bag down. And you can just scoop up some water like that and pull it right through. And as you can see, she's completely unharmed and swimming freely in the net, or in the tank here. So we're going to go ahead and catch one more. We're going to have two fish in this bag, just like we did with the other one. So Doug's going to go ahead and catch another one of my Shiro series.
One of my favorites. She comes up and just about eats out of my hand every morning since I've been keeping her here. So
this particular Shiro series
just put them right over to you.
has won more awards than any of my other fish. So she's a crowd favorite. And sometimes she doesn't want to cooperate, but she will.
There you go.
There she goes. There's no need to rush it. You're never in a rush. These guys are going to be fine. Again, drop it in gently since there's already another fish in here. Unwrap it, get it in the water, and just let it flow right over your koi. That way you don't injure the pecs or the dorsal or snag anything and knock any scales off. Alright, so we've already got a couple bags prepared.
Yep.
And
ready to go.
This is kind of the same method, only with a measuring tank. It's a whole lot easier. So as you can see, they're just swimming in the measuring tank. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get down here in the bag. I'm going to start dragging it across the bottom of the measuring tank. And just let them swim into the bag, which they may or may not do. We're going to go with they're not going to do that today. So I'm just going to gently help them in. And now they're in. I like to do this and do a bag check and just kind of lift it. Yeah, that's about right. So since there's two of us here, having two people is always a good way to go. Let's go ahead and put it in the box first. I like to put it in the box first. Otherwise, sometimes you get way too much air in it and then you can't get it in the bag.
In the box. Can't get it in the box.
Right, can't get it in the box. So, when you grab this end, don't pinch it like this. Get a big old section of the bag, two big sections of the bag, and then lift. Your fingernails can easily puncture or just weaken these bags. Now, it is double bagged, so it's not that big a deal. But if it weren't, then it would be a problem. As you can see, Doug got all the air out of here, so we're ready to go with the air on. Again, working as a team, Doug's got the air. I'm going to go ahead and turn the tank on for him.
Probably good right there.
And we're good now with this. You can see that the bag is bulging out of the top of this box. I'm transporting these fish to my house, which isn't that far from here. I don't care about closing the box. It's going to be on the back seat of my truck. So not a big deal that I can't close the box. I'd rather have more air than be able to close the box. So, and that's another thing to note. Whether you're transporting koi 1 mile, 50 miles, 500 miles, you bag them all the same way. Don't skimp on this if your fish is life. They're in your hands. So there's no need to skimp. Oxygen's cheap compared to the koi. So you just go ahead and use as much as you can. That way you don't have to worry about it. When you're loading them in the vehicle, you want to make sure that you don't have them like this. This is inline. What you really want is perpendicular. So we're going to move them like this, and they're going to go all the way up against the back. Now, I've already loaded some boxes in the back. And you can see these are perpendicular, and that's how they're going to travel. The reason you don't want them in line is because when you slam on the brakes, obviously their head or their tail would go smashing into the front of the box, and that can break tails, smash up their noses, and they have a lot of their sensory stuff is in their nose. So, anyways, that's how that's done. From myself, Doug Silver, all of ZNA Potomac, we want to thank you for watching our video. Hopefully, this will help you down the road when you need to bag your koi and take them to a show. Support your local koi club, and please like and subscribe to our ZNA Potomac channel. Thanks.
Thank you.